Well, too often, unions that represent VA employees fight against the best interests of veterans while protecting and rewarding bad workers. That's a quote from Veterans Affairs Secretary Doug Collins on the day the department announced it was killing the union contracts for most VA employees. Doing this, the VA said last week, would mean staff will spend more time with veterans and they can focus on veterans' needs instead of union demands. The VA claimed the unions have resisted efforts to modernize the agency and hold employees accountable. However, this isn't the first time a federal agency has had its collective bargaining rights stripped away. It happened back in March with the TSA. Well, now it's happening with the VA, and as Hunter Funk explains, the two groups say it's not just their offices that are under attack, but the protections for the people they serve.
Okay, watch out! Don't steal yourselves.
This is what the Boise VA's union has been busy doing.
Get this one out of the way.
Packing up, forced to leave the union office that's been a home base for protecting employees and veteran care.
Secretary of the VA, Doug Collins, has ripped up our collective bargaining agreement. Now that's our ability to represent employees. That's what gives us the authority to represent our employees and make sure everything's on the up and up at the Boise VA. He did it out of the blue. He did it maliciously, and it kind of shows that he doesn't really care about veterans' care. It's a move more towards privatization of the VA, which is really bad news for veterans, especially in the Treasure Valley.
Chandler Bursey says without that contract, his ability to oversee workplace issues and defend employees is cut to nearly nothing.
It is not legal. No, you can't rip up a contract like that. You can't rip up your marriage contract because you don't like it. You can't rip up a loan contract because you don't like it. And so you can't rip up a collective bargaining agreement because you don't like it. We spent a lot of money, both the VA and the union, to come together to create this collective bargaining agreement, and Secretary Collins just threw it in the trash.
The Trump administration says it's a push to cut costs, reduce waste, and make agencies more efficient. The changes are meant to streamline operations and reduce what they call official time hours the union representatives spend on union duties instead of their federal jobs, which the department says costs taxpayers millions each year. They insist services won't be affected, but Bursey says it could have real-world consequences for patient safety.
What's tough to see is the increased push towards privatization. Now, if that happens, that means that more veterans are going to be seen in the outside community with providers that don't understand veteran illnesses like burn pits, like Agent Orange, TBIs. Those providers just don't understand what to look for within a veteran. The people that work here, they do. They get specialized training.
The Boise VA union is now suing, alleging the termination was unlawful and retaliatory, following the same path as the TSA, who's under the same AFGE branch and went through this first.
About 5 months ago, the Department of Homeland Security Administrator, Christine Ohm, she put out a policy saying that she's going to rip up the contract with AFGE, which is who represents TSA officers, citing that it wasn't legal and things like that. And so the contract we signed was a 7-year contract, and the fact that she wanted to rip it up after not even a year is just kind of like ridiculous.
While the TSA's lawsuit is still ongoing, the judge temporarily blocked the Department of Homeland Security from dissolving the union, but not before massive disruption.
Things happened very quickly, stuff had to be out of offices within the weekend, and that went from like either working from home or having your offices to a completely different position.
Coachum says the training to switch the roles for a lot of those TSA workers costs $30,000, only to be told they can resume union operations. Both leaders say these moves aren't random, but part of a push to weaken unions and privatize federal services.
Step one, they want to get rid of the TSA union because then we can't represent officers and give them the representation and rights and safety that they need. But then step two is to privatize the TSA.
Coachum says that means cities or companies could run it, which could cut pay for workers, add longer wait times, and lower safety. For Bursey, the concern is the same at the VA.
It's a real bummer. It really is. And we're just trying to survive and protect the employees here and the veteran care as much as possible.
Now, the VA union, for now, is out of the office as they wait for their lawsuit to play out. Both unions say they're confident they're going to win in court, pointing to the TSA's recent legal victory of being temporarily reinstated as precedent. But they do say even if they do. The damage is done in the meantime, so it's going to take time, it's going to take people to repair all of this. There's also talks about how the Department of Ag and EPA might be going through the similar things, just like TSA and the VA just did.
And is this kind of this trend of chaos that we've seen for the last 6 months or so within this administration? And we all know that privatizing something means it's for profit. So therefore, those prices, as they mentioned, wages or whatever, would go down.
Yeah,
All right.
exactly.
Thank you very much, Hunter.